It's about understanding. I said, what do you mean understanding? It's understanding that for generation after generation, black people were treated less than human. For generation and generation, they were treated as slaves. They were treated no better than animals. And what happens is after generation, those hurts don't go away. They get passed on. And if you've ever studied inner healing, it goes from one generation to another, to another. And so what happens is those hurts don't just automatically go away, even though the racism might be not in their face like it used to be. Okay, we don't have the KKK doing marches anymore. That's not the problem. The problem is God was saying that we need to have empathy and understanding for what they went through as a people and their culture. And I said, God, that's it. That's it. That's going to bring reconciliation and understanding. Because until you've experienced what someone else has experienced, it's hard for you to understand. And you look on the screen and you go, well, I'm not a racist, so this doesn't affect me. But God said, no, that's not it. You don't get it. You don't get it. And I remember when my mother would tell me about how during the war, the Japanese came to South Korea and they made the Koreans slaves to the Japanese. And the Japanese took away their culture and they took the women and they made them to be prostitutes for the Japanese soldiers. And they really took away the heart of the Korean people. And there's a deep hurt that goes from generation to generation to generation. And even today, the South Koreans still feel hurt against Japanese people. But yet, Pastor Sun was called to bring a reconciliation between the Koreans and the Japanese. And now, we have an opportunity for God to do an inner healing on a massive scale. For us to try to understand, because if you know how inner healing works and emotional wounds work, if you have a wound and you keep getting irritated, if somebody keeps picking at that wound, it can't get healed. And that's what's happening when you have one incident after another incident, and it brings back those hurts and those feelings, and they see it and it rises up again. And that's how inner healing works, and you got to be healed from it. You got to be healed so that you're not sensitive to it anymore. And I went through inner healing. And I had to forgive, because I'm half Korean. I had to forgive the Japanese for what they did to my people. And I had to forgive the children on the playground when I lived here, when I was 6 years old, and I was the only minority kid in this entire city. That everybody was white, and because I looked different, they called me all kinds of names I can't repeat. And I would go home crying every day, wishing I was just like I looked like everybody else. And I've given my story about that and how it felt. And I know this is a sensitive subject, and some people, it may be making you feel uncomfortable, but that's what this event is for. It's for a healing. It's for a uniting. And the event's called Unite to Pray. So first we have to unite and have to recognize what has happened and the hurts that have been passed to black people in this country. We have to recognize that, and we have to pray for a healing. Do you agree with what I'm saying here? We need to pray for a healing.